Hi Taurus, welcome to Higher Source Tarot for your seasonal tarot check for the months of May, June, July, and August. So this is for all Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And we are going to do an overview of all the months here. And I just did Aries and it was a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to doing this reading for you. And I want to thank you for all of you who have been watching my channel, subscribed, and sharing, liking, commenting. I really appreciate that. It's been fun for me. And if you're new, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. I do new videos basically every week. So I just did a weekly tarot check, and then I'm doing this, and then I'll definitely do one for the month of May. I don't know if I'm going to do another weekly or not for that next week. I'll have to see. But anyway, I really appreciate that, and I'm excited to see what comes up for you guys. So let's see what is going on for Taurus here for May, June, July, and August of 2020 for Taurus. All right, here we go. Had some really nice energy pulling forward for Aries, so I'm happy for them. So we're going to go month by month, okay? We begin here with May. You have the Three of Cups, Temperance, the Knight of Wands, and the Three of Pentacles. For June, you have the Devil, you have the Ten of Wands, you have the King of Pentacles, and you have the Eight of Cups. For July, you have the Knight of Pentacles, the King of Cups, the King of Swords, and the Moon. And then for August, you have the Ten of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, the Six of Pentacles, and also to the Five of Wands. And what we may use the bottom of the deck as clarifiers. We do have the Star card visible on the bottom here. But you know, overall in the next couple months, when I look at the energies of this of the cards, you have Sagittarius here, you have Capricorn, you have Pisces. You certainly have plenty of earth energy here. You have water, you have fire, and you do have air. You've got all the elements, but if it's one of those other, and you do have Aquarius here at the bottom of the deck, you know, May is going to bring about a time of reunion, okay? You know, we've gotten out of this, we're coming out of a situation where states are beginning to enter into a three-step plan to unlock the states, and I think it'll be a real time of reunion when people are going to go back and have a renewed appreciation for work, a renewed appreciation for things that they may have been taking for granted, and that may even include you, where people are appreciating you and things that you've done for them. You know, as I look at this overall, I definitely feel like you've got very stable elements financially. You've got the Wealth card here. You've got the King of Pentacles. You have three kings in this. I mean, it's definitely a powerful reading. But you definitely, in the month of May, I feel like you're kind of getting back into your groove in terms of a relationship status. I don't know that this is about an ex coming back, but I definitely think there's love here. Some of you might have some new love coming in, but that may be later into the summer when that shows up. I do feel like May is about just kind of getting back into the flow, finding your groove. If you've been anxious about things, spring will bring a renewal for you. I think I've said that word a couple of times now because it just keeps coming in. It's a renewal for you, where even if you were kind of hitting a slump before all of this, and you know, you would go into this isolation period that's difficult for a lot of people, and when we come back in, you know, the sun is rising, there's, you know, emotional, I think, reconnection, right? An emotional reconnection with that physical reconnection. But the only guidance here is just to continue to kind of be steady, take care of yourself. You definitely have somebody that comes in here that's rather, can be rather arrogant. It may be somebody around you at work who it's like, we've just had this thing, everybody comes back renewed again, ready to do a job, and you have this other person that's somewhat arrogant. They're late to meetings all the time. They just don't come back in a very serious way. They may end up exiting. So if you know that you work with somebody like that, when you go, oh God, they're always late, it drives me nuts. they may end up exiting. So be aware of that. That's in May. Or if you're in a supervisory capacity, you may end up having to let somebody go. And I don't think it's going to hurt you at all, because then you have the Three of Pentacles here. And this is definitely about collaboration, about working together. Some of you may have had a relationship where it wasn't an ex, but it just wasn't getting off the ground because we went into isolation. And I think that person may come back in, and they're definitely interested in you. They are, they find you attractive. They want to get to know you better, but the time it was way off. I mean, who's getting into new relationships during a pandemic? I don't know too many people that would say, yeah, I've just started dating this person. I mean, there's so many activities that we can do together. I don't think so. But into June, you do have a little bit of an obsessive energy here. This is Capricorn. And you also have Temperance in here too. Be careful with the drinking. It's possible that some of you, if you were drinking too much during the lockdown period, some of you may be questioning your own drinking, or somebody who's very close around you. It's either you questioning your own or you questioning somebody else's. And I do feel like it's taxing. I feel like it's very burdensome. And I definitely think in the month of June, it's going to become more of an issue where it's like, okay, this day drinking thing is not stopping. And they seem to be continuing this to the point where they're not very reliable. And that may be related to the Knight of Wands too, where they're just out. The bars I don't think will be open certainly in May, but there's definitely going to be more opportunities for people to get out and about, and in that reintegration is going to throw this person. It's definitely going to rock their world. And it, like I said, it becomes a burden, but this is also a 10, so it's like putting down these wands. So if you've been carrying someone who you have a roommate or you have somebody around you that's drinking too much, you may even end up going to Al-Anon or something over this. I mean, it's a pretty strong energy here, Taurus, where somebody's definitely drinking a lot. But, I do think as you get into May, you have this King of Pentacles. This may be a resource too, where you find somebody like a family friend or somebody who's been sober a long time and is in recovery and can help this person. And they won't want anything in return. They will help and you be of service, and that'll be that. Okay, so I would suggest if you're aware of what I'm talking about, to find somebody and let that be their project. Okay, because most of us suck at being treatment centers, and it just drives us nuts. So find somebody that's in AA and turn it over to them. But I also think too, on another plane, this is really about you having financial stability. And I think that is relative to that Three of Pentacles. I think you're working well with people, money's coming in, and you're prudent. You are prudent financially, which is Taurus anyway. I mean, Taurus doesn't tend to be terribly flashy with money. They tend to be conservative financially. Some even say cheap at times, but more frugal for sure. And that's paying off, where the money's coming forward, it's available. And this Eight of Cups, I do believe, is related to this other situation I mentioned, and I don't know who this is for, but this walking away from the cups, this I think is related to alcohol, where it's like time to walk away from that. The other thing I'm kind of getting just now is for some of you where it was you that was drinking too much, and you're walking away from it, where it may not be a full-fledged, like, yeah, I think I am an alcoholic, but it's just like, my nutrition wasn't good. I was drinking too much. I have got to get this back together. I have got to get my act back together. I keep hearing that. I've got to get my act back together. And they're walking away from this, and the improvement is going to be very positive. And I do think it'll stick. So we get into July here, and there's an offer. You got a Knight of Pentacles in, and then you got the King of Cups. I definitely think this could be a good month to have love, to have new love, or to have, if, like I said before, if you were kind of starting to see somebody or have an interest in somebody, this is where it gets a little more serious, because this is somebody serious. This is somebody who wants to go the distance. They're not charging in and rushing in a scary way. They're very precise about it. They're very well thought out. They're kind of a quieter person. And they're smart, they're funny, they're very dry sense of humor, whoever this is. just very dry and sarcastic, but not in a mean way, not in a passive aggressive way, but it's like they say these things where people are just doubled over laughing because it is truly hilarious. So I do feel like they're, like I said, they're not showy at all. It's more of almost like a doctor or somebody where there's like this kind of seriousness about them, but very funny character. And then you get into this Knight of King of Cups here. Excuse me, I almost said knight. Could be a Pisces too that you're dealing with, and I think that they have, been trying to kind of modulate their feelings and regulate their feelings because they don't want to. Again, this is just not their style to come, having a hot air balloon, flying over your house saying, "I love you, Margaret." That's just not who they are. And, but they're serious about you and they're mature. Okay. This is somebody mature. It's somebody, like I said, they're funny. They're very smart and cerebral, professional. And especially with the King of Swords here too, this is like somebody who's very professional, very good communicator, very stable. They will not mess around because they won't keep somebody that they're not serious about. They're not somebody that's going to pick up some barfly, excuse that, but I'm not trying to put anybody down. But, I've known people like that where, I knew an attorney that was like that, and he would pick up all these women. He was not serious about these women, and they would fall in love with him, and they would cheat on their significant others with him. He was never going to stay with them. That's not this. Okay, this is somebody who would never do that. They just wouldn't mess around with it. So when they're looking at you, they're playing for keeps, Taurus, whoever this is. They are playing for keeps, and I do think that the emotions are going to be revealed. I definitely think that there's going to be a time where I don't feel like there's any dishonesty here. I think that it's just about timing. It's timing. And as you get into things a little bit more and restrictions start to lift and we can have a little bit more levity and lightness in relationships, that their feelings are going to come out for you. And you're going to love it. It's a beautiful feeling. And it's, you go right into August and you begin with this 10 of Cups. So this is wealth for everyone. So again, you have the King of Pentacles. I said cups. I meant Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles is the wealth card, and it's wealth for everyone. Okay, it's every age represented here. You've got the two dogs here, the kid in the background, the castle. It's just a beautiful, harmonious energy. So I do feel like for you, this is where a relationship gets serious, is in August. I think it's growing, but it's going to be, this is next level seriousness when we get into August. Might be possible you'll take a little trip with this person in August, and it's going to feel really balanced. You do have, too, the Ace of Swords here, okay? And so this is clarity. So if you have any... if you have any questions about this person and their intentions or their, how they feel about you, I don't think you will after August. I think they're going to lay it right out there. And it really is about truth. It's about understanding the truth. And it's about communication. I could even see for somebody going away on a trip and having a big offer like a proposal or let's move in together or something like that that's much more serious in only a couple months. But you also have the 6 of Pentacles here, and this is all about balance. Okay, so this is somebody who's very balanced. They're mature. It could be Libra energy too with this, and you've got financial stability here for sure, especially as you get into July and August. Actually, really no, June, July, August. There's a consistency here. There's a very consistent, stable energy coming through. And then you do have this 5 of Wands. So this is a change card. And this could be all the way back to that night, where I mentioned they come kind of shooting in and it's not that great. Certainly could be related to that in some way. But I do think that it's very short-lived, whatever this is. There could be some minor maneuvering. It even could be related to this offer where there's just some negotiation that causes a little bit of additional chaos, but I don't think it's anything crazy. Sometimes this can represent like outdoor sporting events, but I don't think we're going to see any of those. I don't actually think that's what this is. Since you've got, like I said, you've got money consistently represented, but you also do have this love. I'd like to hear more about that. So let's get out these Whispers of Love Oracle cards. I'm going to have to lay these down over the original reading just so that I can have enough room here. So the first card represents you, and it's be willing to express new love. Express love. This next card, honesty is essential, represents the other person. This is your energies blended, spiritual connection. And then the advice is look to your inner strength. So very interesting. So let's hear a little bit more about these cards. So this first one, you can see it's this girl looking into this shell with this woman, this fairy looking back at her, and this is just, you know, telling you that you're genuinely a loving individual. Express that to others, and it helps them to feel supported. So you see this nymph making eye contact with a small mermaid, and seashells represent spiritual gifts that you possess, and the feathers on the sea nymph's head are about giving thanks or showing appreciation. So mermaids are usually a symbol of love also. So this is just kind of a reminder to, you know, share eye contact, really look into the eyes of the other person, really engage with their soul. Have you ever had somebody do that to you? I've had that before in relationships, and it's such a beautiful feeling. So I definitely feel like this is a soulmate connection coming through for sure. And there's just a depth here to this. So honesty is essential. Speak with love and truth. And this is about the other person. And I definitely think that they're, like I said, they're an integrous person. This is somebody who does not mess around. So this is about them, and it just tells us that love aims to do what's best for another person. So this woman faces this masked man who's got this rose, and the mask suggests that something's hidden or just kind of being like glossed over. And the woman turns her back, and it can indicate that there's an unwillingness to believe that there's more that's going on here. So you have to be responsible for how you communicate with your partner. So be open and connected to create a healthy relationship. And I think this, again, is more about them, where this whole thing has been bad timing, so they've been waiting, and they just haven't maybe been communicating like they could be. So this is you two together. Spiritual connection. A relationship has a connection that goes beyond this lifetime. Everything happens for a reason here. People come into your life and they help you learn lessons that make a real impact. So this card just gently reminds us to allow the universe to support you, and just in this relationship kind of get out of the outcome business and just let the universe help you bask in this love. So take a minute to consider the unity that exists, even if you have challenging times or things that seem like potential barriers, and kind of look at how could that be relieved through love and understanding. So your guidance here is to look at your inner strength. You're stronger than you realize. And so with this card, this guidance card is really about it's an ideal way or an ideal time to look at your own thinking and your own patterns. So if you had some, like I said, some dead-end relationships, this may be a time to look at that and just look at any area where you might be feeling blocked or not open to new love. So believe in your inner strength, you know, because you're calling towards you everything that's around you. You've called that into you, Taurus. So I love you so much, and I'm glad that we got together today for this seasonal tarot check. And I will be back for sure for a May tarot check and possibly a weekly, and I will see you then.